This is kind of like a dream come true, I'm hearing, for you, because it's a good time with a good cast and it's all very funny.
It is a huge dream come true. So my first love is always comedy. I love making people laugh, and I grew up watching NBC shows, right? Like that Thursday night comedy block was what I grew up watching. I can't believe that we have the chance to create a show with these hilarious writers and cast that airs at that same time as the stuff I used to watch. So I've been having the best time.
Absolutely, I love it. And your character's name is Garrett Modi. Modi is your last name. That's kind of a big deal. How did your parents feel about that?
Yeah, so look, we were trying to name the last name of the character. I went with a couple of different choices, and then I thought, well, the shows that I like Jerry Seinfeld is really named Seinfeld, and that's what he named his sitcom after. I was like, maybe I should name my character after my real last name, which is Modi. Told my dad, thinking it would be like this great gift for him, and he just goes, why would you do that? That doesn't sound very funny. I was like, oh man, Dad. He's come around now, though. He's now a fan of using our real last name.
That's incredible. I'm sure he's super proud. And speaking of the names, every character, the names of the characters, you're kind of giving a little quick, quiet hat tip to certain characters in the past. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so for some of them, you know, because there was so much influence of the kind of shows that we grew up watching, and what I mean by that is, like, you know, when we were kids, you'd watch TV and you'd feel really good when you turned the TV off because the type of humor made you feel like I was never a rich kid who lived in Bel Air, but I love watching Fresh Prince, and I felt like I knew that family, and I spent a half hour a week with them. Or Seinfeld, I grew up outside of New York City, but I certainly didn't know anybody who lived in that neighborhood in Manhattan, but I felt like I have so many uncles who reminded me of George Costanza. So we wanted to do a couple of little hat tips to TV shows we used to watch, and Garrett, my character, and his sister Mallory are named after, Garrett's named after Mrs. Garrett from Different Strokes.
Nice.
So the story is that his parents moved to America, started watching Different Strokes, and thought, that Mrs. Garrett is so hardworking, we should name our kid after him. Then they started watching Family Ties and were like, well, what about Mallory? Mallory is not so smart, but maybe our second-born daughter we could name after Mallory. Then they go back and watch Facts of Life and realize, wait a second, Mrs. Garrett is in 2 different shows. We definitely need to use this name to name our firstborn son. So it was just sort of like a fun little throwback to the shows we watched, and kind of grounds why two siblings who look like me and Kieran Deal, who plays my sister, would be named Garrett and Mallory, because it's more of a hat tip to you know, everyone's love for American television.
I love it. I think that's pretty brilliant. And let's talk about what have you paid someone to do? What has been the weirdest job that you have hired someone for?
Like in real life, or
yeah,
or
in
what the
real life,
has done?
not the character.
In real life,
we already know about that.
Oh man. You know, I think it was probably me. So I remember one of my first jobs, I was hired to do kids' parties, to like put on a bunny suit and wave to little kids. You don't realize if those parents spoil their kids and aren't watching, like I've been kicked by little kids. I remember I did a Halloween party once where I had to lay in a coffin, and these kids thought it would be hilarious to like shut the coffin and sit on top of it. Which you think, like, how heavy can kids be? If there's 20 kids sitting on a coffin, you can't really open it. There have been some pretty awful jobs I've had.
Man, you've come a long way.
Well, thank you. It's character building, right?
Exactly. Now you have a lot to talk about. For the show, how much improvisation really took place? Because, I mean, the cast, everyone's funny. There's also some newcomers. How about that?
The cast is incredible. So one of the best things was putting them together. Our rule number 1 was just bring us the funniest people. So the casting director, Allison Jones, helped us bring stand-up comics, I think 5 out of the 7. Our writing team is incredible. And I really get to show up every day and make jokes with people who are way funnier than me. So it's truly a dream job. Last
but not least, you know there's a petition for Harold and Kumar 4. What can you tell me about it? When is it coming? Just tell me. Just tell us already, man.
I'm super down to do it. I don't write those movies, but if the fans ask for them, who am I to say no? I would love to do them.